You open up Geometry Dash, ready to start whatever level you're going to try that session. The first thing you notice is the song. Does it have a good energy and atmosphere? Is it unique? Have I heard something from this artist before? Well, what if you already had seen something from them before, but not a song? A YouTube video, maybe. If so, you've probably found someone who plays Geometry Dash and makes music. There are 15 specific people who I'm going to talk about in this video who fit into that category. Some you've definitely heard of before, but some are very obscure and underrated. It's been a while since my last scripted video, but I'm back, and if you want more of them, then make sure to like and subscribe, and tell me in the comments. I've got a lot to talk about, so no more wasting time, let's get right into it. First up is someone who I know for a fact everyone watching this knows, the one and only creator and developer of Geometry Dash, Robtop. While you think that he might have solely devoted himself to programming, he's actually quite a good musician. He's made a lot of the game's music, and while it's mostly ambient stuff, you really have to know what you're doing in order to make stuff like that. The level The Challenge by Robtop, same guy, is the most notable one to use his work, and I don't know if very many people would know that he's a producer without its existence. Pretty fun level for its length and difficulty as well. One of the more recent songs that Robtop has made, called Fire Temple, has very well done theming, so I hope to see full-length songs by him, since that level of theming with some higher quality flow or something would be great to listen to. Plus, most of his songs were like a minute to a minute and a half, at the very most. There's not much to say about the game's developer, but I hope to see him start working on some bigger music projects after 2.2's release. Up next is quite the legendary player and also creator. Crusta verified two former top ones, Hell and Yatagarasu, the first of which dethroned the legendary Bloodbath. Crusta took a break from playing the game as much because of school, but in the process he still released WoW, which features his signature fast-paced, high CPS gameplay with some of the most unique structuring I've ever seen for something of that style. And he tried to return to the game professionally, quitting his day job, but unfortunately that didn't last very long. But still, in the process, he beat Wasureta as the new hardest, followed by the Rupture, and tried the Golden, but never ended up following through with it. He's also released Revolt, a mega collab, and still has the one and only mega collab Galaxy Collapse in the process of creation. But that's enough about his GD career. What about his music? Well, he's released multiple songs in the hardstyle genre, which isn't my preferred type of music at all, but I still respect him for the effort that he puts into his stuff. It hasn't been nearly as successful as his Geometry Dash content, but it's nice to see that he's still active in some form. Up next is someone who has drastically changed their music style over time, Thisix. He started out as a creator in 2.0 and 2.1 mainly, with his most known level being the immensely popular medium demon Bloodbath Z. But his music career is a lot more notable, in my opinion. He started out as more of a generic producer, making songs like Lost It All, which doesn't really stand out too much compared to many other songs of that time. But then he took a turn into a more indie style, featuring his own vocals. I haven't heard much of this modern style, but I do remember a song called Serotonin Syndrome, which was very unique and actually pretty high quality as well.
Here I go again, searching through the depths of my mind.
I can't wait to see what Thisix adds to his already respectable discography in the future. Well, Eter has faced a lot of controversy and has left both GD and music production after being exposed that he scammed people out of thousands of dollars. He ended up repaying them, but still. He left a big impact in his time active in both categories. Eter gained over 100,000 subscribers due to his videos about creation and the general GD community. He was also an extremely talented, efficient creator, gaining 108 creator points in his time in the game. But he started to move out of Geometry Dash in early 2.1 to focus on music first, then animation, then scamming people. Anyway, I'm getting off track. Let's focus on the music aspect. He got his start all the way back in 2015, but he didn't release very frequently. Most of his releases came in 2017 though, featuring a collab with the aforementioned Thisix called Sugar Spike, which despite being generic is a well-produced song. From what I've heard from Eter, it's his best work. Obviously, we won't be seeing anything new from him, but he's definitely left a large mark on Geometry Dash, from his extensive catalog of raid levels to his music that has been used countless times in varying levels. One of the most iconic Geometry Dash YouTubers from back in 2.0 and the surrounding area has made a return, and he's better than ever. Brandon Larkin. He was known for being some of the hardest levels in the game when difficulty was really starting to ramp up, which was definitely easier said than done. He went on to beat Koareta, which was near the top of the demon list at the time. After this, he took a break from GD to better himself as a person, and he came back just under a year ago, finally sober and ready to truly live life. He near instantly beat Articulates and then went straight to Zodiac. And after a devastating 99% fail on his birthday, he ended up pulling through. But Brand's high level of GD and video editing skills aren't all he's known for, as he's also a music producer that really brings the energy. Well, he started with uploading piano covers of popular songs from Geometry Dash. He started making house songs like Away, which is still a relatively recent release, and if he keeps improving at this rate, we could see him becoming a seriously successful producer. After he turned his life around, Brandon has really shown his true potential, and I can't wait to see what he does next. This next artist doesn't have as vast of a discography as most on this list, but he's very well known in Geometry Dash for his contributions to Extreme Demons mainly. Platinu has made many notable levels, such as the entire Interface trilogy, an Erebus remake by the same name, and multiple parts in the hard levels such as Ragnarok and Ethereal Artifice, the latter of which I've beaten. While his gameplay style isn't my favorite, it's still pretty solid, and definitely presents some great ideas without being too complicated for the average person to understand. When it comes to his music, I initially discovered it through the level Pig Stomp, which I beat for the layout list. He made a remix of the one and only Pig Step by Lena Rain, and it's actually pretty good. It takes the original chill song and turns it into a high energy rock song. I couldn't find a video, so here's this. He also made a spin-off of the legendary Betrayal songs by Guka-san called Betrayal of Chaos, which is like a more intense version of Guka-san's originals. Platinu's music is something I'd definitely be interested to see more of, so maybe we'll see some more from him in the future. This next artist raps in a language that probably none of you guys can understand. Veram is the Russian founder of the legendary Cherry team, and he's also a rapper, I guess. While he has faced a lot of controversy for being homophobic and also a hacker, he still gets a spot on this list due to how immensely popular he is in the Russian community, having over 100,000 subscribers. He hosted multiple popular levels such as Cosmos, Void Wave, and the one and only Shinigami. When it comes to his music, he's made a song about being a Geometry Dash YouTuber, I think, which I'm not even going to try to pronounce. I don't speak Russian, sorry. I don't really have much else to say about Veram since I can't really understand his music, and he doesn't even deserve much time in this video. Moving on. Transitioning from a controversial figure to a great one. Sharks is everything that a GD player turned musician could possibly be. He made multiple levels, which despite being generic, were expected for early 2.1. Sharks found a lot of success with his style, even going on to use some of his music in his levels before focusing on full-time production. Speaking of that production, Sharks is the only person on this list who I can confidently say is one of my favorite producers of all time. Water Elemental EP is his best work in my opinion, with an amazing atmosphere and also amazing sound design, from the first second all the way to the last. And one of those songs is Morpha. I promise I'm not biased. If you know Warp, you know why I'm probably biased. Some other songs that Sharks has made that I really like are Try Night with Skybreak and Paper Skies, Shadows with Sora, the new version of the already great Out My Head VIP, and Shiver, that is released on the highly regarded label NCS. He is a true pioneer of my favorite genre of all time, color bass, and I have a load of respect for him because of that. Apart from Infinity EP being very underwhelming, Sharks really hasn't dipped in quality, and I think he's just going to keep getting better as time goes on. So yeah, to say that I'm excited for his future is an understatement. Player colors. 9 circles level. You put them together and you get Shark by Caval. A universally hated level. Sorry, this only deserves to be called a map. That was about it for Caval in Geometry Dash. Then he started making dubstep. And he proved his talent quickly, becoming among the earliest released on the record label Rushdown, which is my favorite label of all time, by the way. Starlight was what really gave Caval his initial attention, and it still holds up well today, almost 4 years later. He proceeded to release Blurred Memories EP, Space Storm, Higher, and the amazing Dream Odyssey EP, all in Rushdown, as well as other releases on other labels such as Moonglow, collab with Skybreak, and Attack the City, a collab with Kill and Void. The first song I ever heard in the color-based genre, my current favorite genre as I mentioned in the last section, was actually by Caval. I was going from my then Heart's Demon 000 by Chazor, which uses the aforementioned Space Storm. And I gotta say, it was a pretty good way to introduce me to the genre, due to a strong lead that Caval is known for using, and punchy, colorful stabs. Caval has gone from hated in Geometry Dash to love for his music, and he keeps just getting better with each release. When you think about Newgrounds artists who are providing plenty of unique, chill songs used commonly in Neo design levels, you might think of Laps, or Yagru, or maybe Dominus. He started off as a generic low-style creator, creating the well-known Easy Demon Desolate Deep, and having a part in the Extreme Demon mega collabs Omicron and Napalm, for example. But then, he took a turn into becoming truly one of a kind. With levels like Star Party and his mega collab Carmine, he started to stand out in the crowd of other creators. And around the same time, he started posting his music, and his style is pretty unique. It's sort of a mix of chill and techno, with synthy sounds being used but in an ambient, calming way. While this isn't music I would choose to listen to, his works are great for studying, if you find listening to stuff like lo-fi while doing that helpful. Dom has made a lot of songs, all with their own telltale characteristics, which is something that's hard to find nowadays, especially in that style. On March 19th, 2023, I beat the Extreme Demon Moment by Lexi, my 5th hardest demon at the time. I gave it an 8 out of 10 enjoyment, since I found the ship parts mainly to be too hard for the rest of the level. Yes, you heard that right. The waves really aren't that hard after some practice, or at least for me they weren't. But the point is, Moment's a fun level. And then I rediscovered Lexi's work in another form, on September 4th, 2023, with one of my all-time favorite levels, Heartbreaker by Dark and More. I beat this for the layout list, and it's definitely a very fun level, as it should be. It also has great visuals, especially for a layout. But Lexi doesn't have anything to do with Heartbreaker. The song by the same name is where they come in. I heard the song, and it just made the level infinitely better, despite its already high quality. I've since checked out their other music, and it's mostly drum and bass, and pretty high quality as well. D&B isn't my favorite genre or anything, but I do like it, so I prefer their music to that of Dominus just because of the style. Lexi has gained a lot of respect in the GD community, and it's time that it extends to their music career as well. This next artist doesn't have too strong of a connection to GD, but has honored the game through his music. Exel is quite a legend in the EDM community, with his Discord ringtone remix titled Ping amassing over 27 million views on YouTube. Multiple other songs of his have garnered a lot of success, such as Ping 2, the remake, Terraria and Subnautica remixes, and Moi, which all have between 1 and over 4.1 million views, as of writing this. My personal favorites are Egg, Without You, and Save This World, the latter two being from his new EP titled Save This World as well. And Exel's first main connection to the GD community, apart from posting on Newgrounds, started here, with Cosmic War. He collaborated with Creo on that song, who I'm sure all of you know. Here's something Exel said in the description of that song. So, why am I Creo's first collab? Well, personally, I still can't comprehend it. Like many of you, I was still a conniving goober frolicking on Cube Game as a kid when I first heard Dimension on Black Blizzard. My silly little comments on some of his works must have caught his attention, and that is how we became homies of the highest order. So, it's made obvious that Exel went from your average GD player to the EDM legend that we know him as today. And to honor his past playing Geometry Dash, he released a song Barcode Valkyrie for the game's 10th birthday. So, while Exel didn't have that much impact on GD initially, he used his musical abilities to make the major impact that he ended up making. These next two artists are people that I've gotten to know through Geometry Dash, and then discovered their music through that. First up, we have JDK. He's the owner of the layout list, which if you've been watching my videos recently, you definitely know what it is. For those of you who don't, it's a ranking of difficulty of the hardest beaten layouts in Geometry Dash. There's a quality standard though, so it's not just any bad level can get accepted. Layouts are supposed to be focused on solely gameplay and not decoration anyway. When it comes to JDK's music, some of his stuff is electronic like electrostatic or retro zone, which was made 100% with synths. His melody writing skills are apparent in these songs, as he really knows how to take a very basic sound and make it elicit a very specific emotion. And then there's the other side of his music. He's a rapper as well. He raps about topics that have clearly affected him throughout his life, specifically in mistakes. And while I have a pretty high standard for rap since it's so common now and nobody really does anything to stand out, JDK has a really unique sound and great flow. For the creator of the best GE list of all time, in my opinion, don't get mad at me, what else should I expect? Moving on to one of the most active members of my community, who is a very ambitious GE player and a rising metal musician, Snow. The most impressive thing he's done in Geometry Dash as of right now is making a jump from Thisix to Ethereal Artifice, the latter of which he got some of the worst luck I've ever seen in this game. He's going for Chromatic Haze and Nelv right now, with his most notable progress being 92% on Chromatic Haze and 81% in 38 to 100 times 3 on Nelv. He was also the first victor of my layout Nothing Left, which I'm actually making an update for soon. It might already be out when this video releases. And he said that he's going to rebeat it then, so he definitely has good takes. Anyway, about his music. He makes metal, which isn't a style that I enjoy, but I can still respect songs like Road Trip and Arise, the latter of which being almost 8 minutes long. And unlike most people of my generation, I actually have an attention span for that. Hopefully Snow can complete his jump to Nelv and finally get the attention he deserves, and also put out some new songs in the process, since he has a ton of potential and I can't wait to see what his future looks like, in both Geometry Dash and music production. Also, follow him on Twitch for some great streams, which I always respect as a fellow streamer. Speaking of me, let's get into this last section. There have been some legendary musicians throughout history. You might think of people or groups like Michael Jackson, the Beatles, and Hyperbeat, the latter of which is truly a legend. Hyperbeat is universally agreed on to be the greatest musician to ever live. Okay, I'm going too far with this joke. I have to write an actually serious part of the video about myself. I don't think I'm going to make it. Here goes nothing, I guess. When it comes to my Geometry Dash achievements, I'm both a player and a gameplay creator. My hardest demon is Exel, which just fell out of the top 150 in August, and I'm going for a new hardest right now, Repentless, which is the top 110 on the list as of writing this. From the creating aspect, I've made a 15-minute layout called Skyview, which I'm planning on making an in-depth video about once 2.2 comes out, since you guys haven't heard much about it lately. My personal favorite layout I've made apart from Skyview is Nothing Left, which I mentioned in the section about the first victor of the level, Snow. When it comes to my music, I have a huge discography, but most of it was very rushed. I would put out a new 15-track album every 4 to 6 months or less, since I was using sound loops to make my stuff, which takes maybe 2 hours per song. I actually just made the transition to making original stuff recently, with 4 of the 5 songs on Uncharted EP not using loops. And Radiant Horizon EP only had 1 song without loops, so the change to better music is coming soon and fast. When it comes to Uncharted EP, I'm super satisfied with the result, as it's a really strong showcase of how quickly I've gotten good at sound design, in my opinion. I have something really exciting coming soon, so get ready for that. Overall, I'd say that I'm better at both Geometry Dash and music production than I give myself credit for. And if I embraced how quickly I'm rising, I think I could really become all that I could be with my talents. So, that's the video. This was quite a long one, but I wrote this one pretty fast. I love creative writing, and the fact that it's about my 2 largest interests makes it even more fun for me. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe, and tell me if you want even more scripted videos in the future, since if I write shorter scripts, I could bang a lot of these out. Anyway, I'll see you guys in the next video. Have a good day.